Hello, in today's episode we will review the verbs related to daily routines which we have just studied and then describe daily routines using Geniş Zaman in Turkish, which is the simple present tense in English. So let's start from the verbs. Remember, we have studied all of these in the previous episodes. But do you remember them? You can pause here if you want to, and I will give the answers in a second. Are you ready? So the very first picture has two options. Uyanmak, kalkmak. Uyanmak is to wake up, kalkmak is to get up. And the second picture has two options again. Yatmak, uyumak. Yatmak is to go to bed, to lay down. Uyumak is to sleep. Third picture, ayrılmak, which means to leave. And we use this verb with den done noun case, which means from. So what we say is to leave from somewhere. And the fourth picture, varmak, which means to arrive. And we use this verb with a noun case, which means to. So we say to arrive to somewhere in Turkish. And the next picture has two options again. Kahvaltı yapmak and kahvaltı etmek. So kahvaltı yapmak is to do breakfast. Kahvaltı etmek is to have breakfast or to eat breakfast. Remember, the correct form is actually kahvaltı etmek. But I'm putting kahvaltı yapmak here because you will hear that a lot. People tend to use kahvaltı yapmak. Next one, öğle yemeği yemek. So to have, to eat lunch. Next one, akşam yemeği yemek. To have, to eat dinner. And the last picture, çalışmak, to work. Okay, we have four more verbs. Again, you do it first. You can pause here if you want to, and I will give the answers in a second. Right, the very first picture is alışveriş yapmak, to do shopping. Next one, kitap okumak, to read a book. Third picture, spor yapmak, to do sports, to exercise. And the final picture, televizyon seyretmek, to watch TV. Okay, let's practice these words a bit. So I have the whole list here. What you're gonna do is to put the right verb in the right category. Category 1 is sabah, which means morning. So which of these activities we do in the morning, or we are likely to do in the morning? Or for öğle, for noon, afternoon, and or for akşam, which means evening, or for night, gece. So you do it first. You can pause here if you want to, and I will give my list. Remember, it might be different than your list. Okay, are you ready? So I put these activities for sabah, morning, uyanmak, to wake up, kalkmak, to get up. Or we might exercise, so spor yapmak, I put it there. And we leave home, so evden ayrılmak, and we arrive at office, eve varmak, ofise varmak maybe. And some of you will be having breakfast maybe in between. So kahvaltı yapmak, kahvaltı etmek. I personally don't have breakfast. Okay, and çalışmak, to work. For öğle, I put çalışmak, to work, and öğle yemeği yemek, to have lunch. And for evening, I put these activities. So den ayrılmak, so ofisten ayrılmak, to leave office. Ev varmak, maybe eve varmak, so you arrive home. Or before, maybe you do shopping, so alışveriş yapmak. Or some of you might be doing sports, spor yapmak. Akşam yemeği yemek, to have dinner. Or some of you might be working, so I put çalışmak there as well. And for night, I put televizyon seyretmek, to watch TV. Kitap okumak, to read a book. Some of you might be working. Again, çalışmak might appear here. Yatmak, to go to bed, to lay down. Uyumak, to sleep. Okay, let's move to Geniş Zaman, the simple present tense in Turkish. So when we're describing daily routines, we use Geniş Zaman in Turkish. And how do we construct sentences using this tense, or how do we recognize sentences using this tense? Basically, we take the verb in base form and we add er, or, ir, ır, ur, or ür, or re, and then we add subject pronoun suffixes at the end. Let's take a look at this example. O sabah saat 5:30'da kalkar ve evden ayrılır. So I want to draw your attention to the verbs kalkar, ayrılır. So kalk takes ar, however ayrıl takes ır. So how do we decide which one to use when? So let's go over the rules. So we have 3 rules. Rule 1, if the verb ends with a vowel, we're just going to add r. Let's take a look at these verbs. Yemek, okumak, uyumak. So to eat, to read, to sleep, right? So I get rid of mekmak. I have the base form. I have ye, oku, uyu. They all end with a vowel, so I'm just going to add r. So yer, okur, uyur. And rule 2, if the verb has 1 syllable, then I'm going to add er or ar following vowel harmony rules. So I'm putting the vowel harmony rule here. We're going to follow A-type 2-way vowel harmony rule. If the last vowel is A, E, Ö, or Ü, then we're going to add er. If the last vowel of the verb is A, O, or U, then I'm going to add ar. Let's take a look at these examples. Kalkmak, yapmak, yatmak, seyretmek. So kalkmak, get up, yapmak, to do, yatmak, to go to bed, to lay down, seyretmek, to watch. So I get rid of mekmak. I have kalk, yap, yat, seyret. Right? So I'm going to add er or ar following the vowel harmony rule. So kalkar, yapar, yatar, seyreder. Now you're going to ask me, why seyret takes er? Because it has more than 1 syllable, right? But the actual verb here is actually etmek. So seyretmek comes from seyir etmek, and the actual word is et, which has 1 syllable. This is why I put er. So let's take a look at rule 3. So if the verb has more than 1 syllable, then we're going to add ir, ır, ur, or ür following E-type 4-way vowel harmony rule. So I'm putting the information here again. So we're going to look at the last vowel. If it is AE, I'm going to add ir. If it is AE, I'm going to add ır. If it is OU, I'm going to add ur. If it is ÖÜ, I'm going to add ür. So let's take a look at these examples. Çalışmak, ayrılmak, uyanmak. Çalışmak, to work. Ayrılmak, to leave. Uyanmak is to wake up. So I get rid of mekmak. I have çalış, ayrıl, uyan. So I'm going to add ir, ır, ur, or ür accordingly following vowel harmony rule. So çalışır, ayrılır, uyanır. And also we have some irregular verbs. So some 1 syllable verbs follow rule 3, not 2. What was rule 2? If we have 1 syllable verb, we're going to add er or ar. But some verbs don't follow this rule. They follow rule 3. So we add ir, ır, ur, or ür like these examples. Gelmek, to come. Varmak, to arrive. Bilmek, to know. But we get rid of mekmak. We have gel, var, bil. So I'm going to add ir, ır, ur, or ür. I'm going to follow rule 3, remember. So it becomes gelir, varır, bilir. So there are more irregular verbs, but we're going to learn about them as we go along. So I want to move into how to insert time expressions into sentences, because when we're talking about daily routines, we're going to see lots of time expressions in sentences. But how do we do that in Turkish? For example, how do we say at 2 o'clock or at 5 o'clock or at 5:30 or at 5:30? We need de da noun case, which means on in at. So saat 2'de means at 2 o'clock, saat 5'te at 5 o'clock, saat 5:30'ta at 5:30 or saat 5:30'da is at 5:30. So how do we specify morning, afternoon, evening or at night? So we need the certain words. So sabah for morning, öğleden sonra afternoon, akşam evening, and gece is night. Again, we're going to use de than noun case, which means on, in, at. So to be able to say at 3 o'clock in the morning, we say sabah saat 2'de. To be able to say at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we say öğleden sonra saat 3'te. At 6 o'clock in the evening, akşam saat 6'da. At 11 o'clock at night, gece saat 11'de. So let's move to describing daily routines. How do we do that? So we have Ali. Let's take a look at his daily routine. So he gets up at 6 o'clock, he has breakfast at 7, he has lunch at 12, and he has dinner at 7 o'clock. So let's start from the verbs first. So get up, what was it? Kalkmak. Have breakfast. Kahvaltı yapmak or kahvaltı etmek. Kahvaltı etmek is the correct one actually. But I'm going to put kahvaltı yapmak as well. Have lunch. Öğle yemeği yemek. Have dinner. Akşam yemeği yemek. So, in Turkish language, we start with the subject, we end the sentence with the verb. Okay? And in the middle, we're going to put the time expressions. So, let's start from the subject. So, we put Ali. Now, let's take a look at the time expression. So, it's 6 o'clock in the morning. So, do you remember how to say that? Right. Sabah saat 6'da. And now is the verb, right? So, let's take a look at kalkmak. I will get rid of mak. I have kalk. One syllable, so I'm going to put er or ar. Last vowel is a, so I'm going to add ar, so kalkar. So, Ali sabah saat 6'da kalkar. Now, let's take a look at have breakfast now. I don't have to say Ali this time. I can simply say o. Remember, o means he, she, it. And from the context, we know that is Ali. We know that is he. Let's take a look at the time expression. So, we're going to say 7 o'clock in the morning. How do we say that? Right. Sabah saat 7'de. Okay. Now, we're going to add the verb in present tense, simple present tense. So, yapmak, etmek. So let's take a look at the yapmak first. I will get rid of mak. I have yap, one syllable, right? So I'm going to put er or ar. Look at the last vowel, a. So I'm going to put ar, so yapar. Etmek, I will get rid of mek. I have et. Again, one syllable. Last vowel and the only vowel is e. So I'm going to put er, so eder. So kahvaltı yapar or kahvaltı eder. So whole thing is o sabah saat 7'de kahvaltı yapar, kahvaltı eder. Next one. Have lunch, öğle yemeği yemek, right? So, I can start with Ali, I can start o, but in Turkish, you don't have to do that. I will start from the time expression, right? So, I'm going to say at 12 o'clock. So, how do I say that? Saat 12'de, right? So, öğle yemeği yemek, I will get rid of mek, I have ye, ends with a vowel, so I will just put re. So, öğle yemeği yer. So, saat 12'de öğle yemeği yer. Okay, and last one. So again, I will start from the time expression. I don't need Ali or o. So how do I say that? 7 o'clock in the evening. Right. Akşam saat 7'de. Right? Okay. Akşam yemeği yer. Again, the same thing. Yemek. I get rid of mek. I have ye. It ends with a vowel. I will put re. Yer. So akşam saat 7'de akşam yemeği yer. Okay, let's take a look at another one. This time is 7 and this is her daily routine. Let's take a look at it. So she wakes up at 5, she exercises at 6, she leaves home at 8, she arrives at the office at 9, all in the morning, right? So, do you remember the verbs? Right, let's do it. Wake up, uyanmak, exercise, spor yapmak, leave home, evden ayrılmak. Remember, ayrılmak takes stand down. So, evden ayrılmak. So, arrive at office. So, ofise varmak. Varmak takes a noun case. Remember that. So, ofise varmak. Okay, let's create sentences. So, we're going to start from the subject, Selin. Time expression. So, we're going to say 5 o'clock in the morning. Sabah saat 5'te. Right? This time not de. Te, because 5 has sh. So we change de to te. So now uyanmak, we're going to put uyanmak. So let's get rid of mak. We have uyan, more than one syllable. So I'm going to put ur, ir, ur or ür. Last vowel is a, so I'm going to put ır, uyanır. So Selin sabah saat 5'te uyanır. Next one exercise. So we don't have to say Selin or o. Let's start from the time expression. So we're going to say 6 o'clock in the morning. Right. Sabah saat 6'da. Now spor yapmak. We get rid of mak. We have yap. One syllable. I'm going to put er or ar. Last vowel is a. So I'm going to put ar. So spor yapar. So sabah saat 6'da spor yapar. And the next one. Evden ayrılmak. So I'm going to start from the time expression again. So saat 8'de or sabah saat 8'de. So evden ayrılmak, I will get rid of mek. I have ayrıl. More than one syllable. So I'm going to put ır, ir, ur or ür. Last vowel is ı. So I'm going to put ır. Evden ayrılır. So saat 8'de evden ayrılır. Last one, arrive at office. So let's start from the time expression again. So at 9 o'clock, how do we say that? Right. Saat 9'da or sabah saat 9'da. Ofise varmak. I get rid of mak. I have var. So it's one syllable. Ideal I should put er or ar. But remember, var was an irregular verb. So it follows rule 3. So I'm going to put ır, ir, ur or ur. Last vowel and the only vowel is a. So I'm going to put ır. So varır. Ofise varır. Saat 9'da ofise varır. Okay, let's take a look at the next one. So this time, Nesrin. And Nesrin's routine is like this, right? She reads a book at 6:30. She watches TV at 7 o'clock in the evening. She works, right, at 8 o'clock. And at 10 o'clock, she goes to bed and she sleeps. So do you remember the verbs? Okay, read a book, kitap okumak. Watch TV, televizyon seyretmek, TV seyretmek. Work, çalışmak. Go to bed, yatmak or lay down, right? Sleep, uyumak. Now, you're gonna do the rest. So you can pause here if you want that, and I'm going to give the answers in a second. Are you ready? Let's start. So subject Nesrin. Time expression. Yeah, 6:30, right? In the evening. So akşam saat 6:30'da or akşam saat 6:30'ta. Kitap okumak. Get rid of mak. We have oku. Ends with a vowel. So I will just put r. Kitap okur. So Nesrin akşam saat 6:30'da or 6:30'ta kitap okur. Next one. We don't need a subject. So let's start from the time expression. So 7 o'clock in the evening. Akşam saat 7'de. Now televizyon seyretmek. I get rid of mek. We have seyret. Remember, the real verb here is etmek. So it's one syllable. So I will put er or ar. So final vowel is e. So I'm going to put er. Seyreder. That t changes to d. So akşam saat 7'de televizyon seyreder. Next one. So at 8 o'clock she works, right? So time expression. Right, saat 8'de çalışmak. Get rid of mak. Last vowel is ı. It's more than one syllable, so I'm going to put ir, ır, ur or ür. Last vowel is ı, so ır, çalışır. Saat 8'de çalışır. And the last one. So shall we say 10 o'clock at night? Right, gece saat 10'da. Now yatmak, uyumak. Let's get rid of mak. We have yat, uyu. Okay. Yat has one syllable. I will put er or ar. Last vowel is a, so ar, yatar. Uyu ends with a vowel, so I will put r, uyur. So gece saat 10'da yatar ve uyur. And that's all for now. In the next couple of episodes, we will review all the words we have studied and practice verb conjugations in Geniş Zaman, the simple present tense, which means adding er, ar, or ir, ır, ur, ür, or re. And then we will study and practice adding subject pronoun suffixes. As you see, we haven't practiced adding subject pronoun suffixes in this episode, but we will do this in the following episodes. Please follow them up because it's going to be quite beneficial. So that's all for now. Never quit. You're doing great, and I will see you next time. Bye bye. Take care.